Just checking for Instagram. All right, we should be good, to be honest. I think you guys can see me everywhere, and I hope you're good. Welcome to another Triton Live here from the Great Barrier Reef. I'm here again to answer all your questions. I can see some people joining already. Diver Kevin joined. Hey, Diver Kevin. How are you, man? You need to tell me about your fish. So I hope you're good on this weekend. I had a crazy day yesterday. It was absolutely awesome. And this week was really good weather too. We had like really flat oceans. We went out. It was just great. It was like, it's starting again. It's starting again. I'll make a post. Yesterday I went into to a waterfall next here. Like it's not too far away. Bahana Gorge, and then there was like just you need to walk there a little bit. And I will walk there with Linda and my sons and my daughter, and then there was like a cassowary coming up, a big monitor was there. It was crazy. It's an absolutely beautiful place, but it's kind of getting the summer is starting here, so it's good. It's good. There'll be a lot of little videos, I guess, coming up. So if I don't see anybody right now on, I can see a lot of people joining on Instagram. Yep, Linda is on too. So if you have any questions, just shoot them, and Linda will see them too and help with them too. Like, help me not to forget anything. Okay. Okay. What is this? Franco Martin Fernandez joined. Hey, mate, how are you? So you guys have any questions, just shoot them right away. Okay, so I can see that some other people joining on Facebook and YouTube too. So like I say, I'm always here. Welcome to the live. I'm always here to answer your questions, specifically about anything reef keeping. So if you have any, just go for them and I will answer them. And Mesha is on. Hey, Mesha. Oh, what I wanted to say, I always say that it's very important on YouTube and on Facebook. I cannot see you joining. Okay, so I can do that. I can see that on Instagram that people come on and I'll say hi to you. But if you want me to know you there, just give me a hi, especially when you're on YouTube or Facebook, because I only see your comments. Okay, so Mina is there, Dan is there, and what? And Mesha is there. Anyway, then might be some crazy guy. Okay, here you go. Does GFO particles cause any issue if they fall into the sun? No, no, they don't. Yeah, I will take them away at one point, but GFO is kind of not really um leaching anything to your tank anyway, right? So if they're in the thing, what could happen in a really bad way, Mesha, would be they get stuck into something. They're pretty strong little particles, so they go into your pump and then block the pump or something like that, maybe. But chemically, it's not an issue. It's like a little piece of sand that is in your tank somewhere. I wouldn't be really concerned about that. But the reality is like at one point just take it out because you don't want to have particles in there. So if you mess something up, something fell in there really bad, just take them out and that's fine. If you have 2, 3 particles, 10 particles, like little granular particles in there, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so don't worry about that too much. I don't think it's hard. I had it 10 million times. Even the AL99, same thing. AL99 would be a bit worse because that's over time get aluminium into solution, right? But again, like just think about it. Nothing to really panic about at all. So Mina, I can see you there, and you have he's saying congratulations to the US launch of the subscription. Thank you, mate. It was great. That was a lot of work. And it's still ongoing. So it's it's never ending. But yeah, I mean, it was good. It was really good, and I thank you for that. So hello team, Reef Suns is on. Is Core 7 Flex a carbonate or bicarbonate based formulation? It's a carbonate mostly based formulation, Mina. So it's keeping your pH up, right? And that's the way we work, and it's way more dense, right? So we said that several times. It's not a magic solution, right? But it's a very good combination of like carbonate and bicarbonate a little bit, but I'm not saying too much. But it's mostly carbonate based, right? So Ethan Sams, who's that? Pettis. Russell Pettis. Okay, let's have a look at Instagram. David Kevin. Last week I asked about the bottles that there is no information on it for dosing, like XML with like XPPM. If you know that what I mean. Yes, I know. And there is like a calculator, Diver Kevin, which is more secure. Because we do not want people to overdose these things and calculate stuff on their own. So we calculate it for you. So what we have is a little calculator on Triton Lab on that website. You go there and then you can, and I can send you a link if you want. After maybe I can just create a link or something. Or if whoever is interested, just send me. I'll send you the link right away. It's super easy. And you go there and you have every element listed up, like with a picture and the name, and you put at the top you put your amount of aquarium, like the liter amount, let's say, of your aquarium, or the gallon amount or whatever it is, and then you put it in there, and then you put in how much of, let's say, vanadium you have and how much you want, and it will calculate how much of our product to dose. That's a very secure way, because then you do not need to calculate it based on this MLX, you know what I mean? And because we had people doing that, and then they overdose tenfold, and we don't, and that's bad, because then this is just not useful, right? So this information is there, and you can just do it if you want to. So no problem at all, Diver Kevin. Okay, if that is kind of the thing you asked for, but I think it was right. So Ethan Sam saying Russell Peters. I just know. There might be some crazy things going on YouTube when you go live, which is fine. No Reef, no live. Hey mate, how are you? That's pretty much. I should take that name from you. So Pimpin 037. So I'm from Belgium, and I would say thank you for your products. It's a pleasure, mate. It's a pleasure. Nice to have you in. So the smoking reef is on, and Sharpie's reef is on. Hey guys, the seed room is on. Reef 3.0. Hey, Juan Gabriel is on. How are you, mate? And Dul GV entered too. So guys, if you have any questions, just shoot them, right? And yeah, you can thank me for my products, but if you have anything, you let me know. So it's crazy. There's like some bots on the way, I think. And I don't know. It's just a bit crazy. It doesn't matter. So, Unterwasserparadies is on. Hey, how are you? Wie geht's dir, Walter? Germany. What time is it in Germany now? I see you. I'll be good. All right. So, let me tell you some stuff. We are going out with the boat again, and I put the Starlink on, and it's working really well. So I'll try to get one Sunday, if we have good weather on a Sunday, out there and try to get you underwater footage, right? And there is some stuff I did last week about the reef. A lot of people think the reef is kind of dead, like because you watch TV and stuff, and you think, oh, the reef, that's not really something that I want to go to anymore. It's everything is dead, and I just want to show you in one of the videos that I will share this week. I'm pretty sure, a spot that is just amazing, like, and you never think that exists on the Great Barrier Reef, and it's not even a far out spot. It's not even far away. know, it's really like close. Okay, so if we can reach that spot, I can reach that spot in like, I would say half an hour. Okay, so half an hour, and I'm there. Um, and it's a little, it is many little reefs, but one of them is so healthy, like you don't believe it, right? And I'll show you that. But this is that a lot of people kind of think this is not, the Great Barrier Reef is dead because they watch stuff on TV and think it's done, you know, but it's not. Just wanted to let you know. Can you guys hear me well too? Just give me a little high. Yeah, we can hear you, and that will be good. Boss Reef is on. So, oh yeah, 11:10. That's hard. Also, I think I need to do one. I think maybe I need to do one the better time for you, but it will be like me waking up either super early or doing it in the evening time. Yeah, yes, that's it, Derek. Having underwater footage. Matching your name. Good, that's perfect. So let's see, there's some questions coming up. And Mina, yep, I can see a Chris. I can see your question. And Mina asking questions too. So yes. So Chris is saying, what's the best way to raise pH without raising calcium and alkalinity? Literally, you will have a hard time to raise pH without raising alkalinity, right? That's a bit of a difficult thing. So you know, you could try to reduce your CO2 in another way. So if your pH is low, and that need to be like, you know, it need to be the main reason for your pH being low. So what, like, there's acid in your tank, right? And one acid could be CO2, like the acid out of CO2, right? So when you look at that, if that's the case, if you reduce your CO2, obviously you reduce the acid and your pH will go up. Okay, so that is one way to do it, and that's what, when you use like a scrubber for CO2 or get more aeration or something in your tank to just push out the CO2 somehow, you know, or do not let CO2 come into the tank, so you kind of aerate your room or something like that. You know, like there's several ways of doing it, but CO2 is not that soluble in seawater, so this could raise your pH quite a bit, but you know, it's if there's another source of your low pH, then that will not help you that much, right? So any other way would contain, even the pH, the CO2 can be converted into alkalinity and then be gone, and then that raises your pH too. And that's when you use, like, for example, you know, kalkwasser, which is a very high pH, or carbonate, you know, like sodium carbonate, or so, like soda ash, stuff like that. But you will raise your alkalinity, right? And that's actually the best way to do it. Okay, so this is really the best way to do it because your alkalinity will be used up. So it's not a bad thing, right? So I would recommend doing it that way. An algae scrubber and stuff will, and a CO2 scrubber will work too, but it is very, like, you know, expensive and wasteful. You know, you need to, you know, exchange a scrubber all the time, and you don't really want a tank, you know, in need for a CO2 scrubber. That's why I try always to you know, go the other way and try to have it built into the whole system so your pH is stable, right? And it comes down also to what you use as a product for keeping up your calcium and your alkalinity. So if you use, for example, Core 7, it's based, we said that, on carbonates, so it will keep your pH up anyway. And that is a really good way to do it, right? So you kind of build that system into your daily supplementation anyway, and you're fine. That's a really good way. That's why I'm so happy with Core 7, because it does that, right, for you. If you have any question, Chris, just shoot them. Keep going, right? So I will help you out. So Mina, I said, how did you induce so much coralline algae growth in Triton 2.0? I didn't. Mina, I didn't induce any coralline algae. Like I just put my life rock in there, and then you follow the Triton method, right? And I keep up with the alkalinity, I keep up with my magnesium usage, and then it just explodes, like you can see it, right? They need light though, a lot of light, a lot of good light. Some, it's algae, so it lives from light. But that's what I did. It's just everywhere. I know, but people do not know how it works nowadays anymore. This is I'm a bit old school. Am I like I'm doing this since I'm 12 years old. So I learned a lot of things from very old reef keepers. Some of them died, like some of them were really old. They told me stuff, and I keep doing stuff that they told me, um because I still know it. But you guys, so a lot of people nowadays, they don't know these things anymore. They kind of learn it from the beginning, and there's a lot of marketing nowadays around. Okay, Mina, and that wasn't the case when I was young. It wasn't. It was very little. Nobody was keeping aquapora that day. Right? The aquapora was new. They all called strawberry coral back then. Like we called them all strawberry corals. I went into a shop and they're like, "Oh, strawberry coral," right? So that's kind of, the mentality when you come in from that time. You kind of look through the marketing, and then you realize, oh, this is not what I want, this is not what I want. While nowadays this is really difficult. It's hard for the people. So it's not like you need to induce anything. They will grow. That's what they do naturally. And if you have a natural tank, and you run the Triton method, for example, in a very natural way, then you will get it. And you just need to wait, because you right now into the, you just started going into the starting phase right now, because we had all these issues beforehand with your rock and stuff. So just to let you know, it's a bit of a old school experience based thing, that when you have that, and I hope I can give it to you here. That's the main thing. One main thing I'm doing this for, to share my experience and my knowledge from also the past. That's very valuable. So you don't forget it. Nobody's really writing a book about this, like about all of it. Like it's so long. It's such a long time ago. Like I was the age of my son right now when I started reef keeping. So it's it's a little bit of, it's just, I don't know, it's a bit of an understanding thing that you need to have, um and a feeling for the animals you keep, and that you keep a habitat that's more that than being, like, yeah, just go like, oh, you put this in, put that in. It's not that, right? So the same like with my echinata, just to let you know. um we went Obviously we went to Cancer in the start of the tank, and then Linda saw the Acropora echinata, which is one of the hardest to keep Acropora. And she's like, oh, let's get one. And I'm like, no, because and then right away they're like, no, it's too hard, it's too early. It's too early for that tank. Like right away I said that, right? um but and it is, it is like, it was too early, but not for this tank, because we are like at the Great Barrier Reef and everything is like perfect. So I kind of judged it by being in Germany and having a tank in Germany, judging it, this is a difficult Acropora to put in a fresh tank. But that Acropora is stunning right now, so it's like something you learn on the way all the time. The same with my Antius. So it's all these little things that you need to understand. Now I try to get over to you, like it's different. I try to get all these things over to you and make you successful too. So I'm using that, but I added a calcium reactor, and it's lowered it more. Yes, a calcium reactor is based on CO2. So the way a calcium reactor works is CO2 is used to like to create an acidic environment, which is pH 6, and then dissolve your calcium carbonate, and that is what lowers your pH. So there's two ways of doing it. Either you get your pH up, you put alkalinity in, or you lower it. The calcium reactor is still a really good way to do it. So I have a calcium reactor here now. I'm not using it yet because my pH is still too low. But as soon as my pH goes up because of the core 7, then I will start balancing it out, right? But yeah, you should, if you use core 7, you buy core 7 and use it, your pH will go right away up, and you'll have a really good balance calcium reactor and core 7. You can pinpoint your pH with them. A lot of professionals do that, like the Cancer Aquarium is doing that. If you see that tank, they got voted, I think they're one of the 10 most beautiful tanks in Australia. And it's all Triton method, right? So and they're using core 7 and the calcium reactor. The Horniman Museum did that for years and years in the past. A lot of people do that, like they're just doing it because it's a good way to pinpoint your pH. So if you want to do that, you just try, and then it will work. But if you have any questions, just give it to me now. I would definitely use soda ash or carbonate or core 7 to raise that. Core 7 have a lot of better effect to it too. It's a lot of salts, right? It works really well. So strawberry coral and pretty much one color. Yes, pretty much. Because are you doing this for a long time? That is yeah, not really. Like we had, it's not, when I went into this shop, there were nice ones. They were nice. It wasn't one color. It wasn't brown. It wasn't that brown because they just imported them, but they were little like this, really little, and it was just a little tank, and there was literally no filtration because they couldn't keep it for a long time anyway. So they just give it a little tank where I put them and hope that in 1 week people come in and buy them. They had that week for selling them, otherwise they went full brown, right? So that was a good time. Oh my god, yeah, the strawberry coal. It's just yeah, good times. So my pH is 7.9 light off and 815 light on. Yeah, that's a good, it's a bit of a shift, So you have a bit of a bounce right now, but it depends if you have like algae in the sump. So algae will help with pH too, guys, It will, because they like when you reverse lit the sump, that's what we do at the Triton method, then the pH will be balanced by the 2 day phases. So at one time, the algae takes the CO2 for the photosynthesis, and at the other time your corals will do it. So then you balance that shift out, Chris, right? So you don't have that massive shift. Normally it stretches out pretty nicely. We have a very nailed kind of pH right now. You can do that. That's a good way too. Okay. And if you do that, that should be better, right? So Chris saying I'm running Dragon Breath, Pom Pom, and Keto. Yep, that's fine. That's good. Especially Dragon Breath and Keto works really well together. We have the same thing over in the Cancer Aquarium. Okay, and I dumped the calcium reactor in the refuge to algae. I'm going to add your product. See how it goes. Yeah, do that, mate. Just try. It will work though. I'm doing the same thing. So just do that. That's a good thing to do. So Seedream is asking something on Instagram. And Katja Schaumlöffel is on. Hey Katja. If you have any questions, Katja, just send them. I'm answering anything. Okay. So hello. I had my KH 7.5, nitrate at 10, and phosphate at 0.05. So yesterday I did a 20-liter TPA, okay? And I changed the activated carbon. So today everything was different. KH 7.8, yep. Nitrate 9.8, yep. And phosphate 0.03. All right, so Seedream, listen. That measurement 9.8 to 10, I doubt that this is difference. Okay, so realistically, that's not a big difference. Same counts for 7.5 to 7.8. This is all in the range of the measurement error. So you need to check if you want to be down that way and be that precise. I don't think you can do that with home test kits. Okay, the only one that phosphate is lower 0.03, that could be right. But it could be a natural thing too, right? So I don't really see a problem there, Seedway. But what is the issue you have? I would say actually nothing really changed too much. You know, if you see the numbers, I don't see too much of a change. But it's definitely, like, even if it would be, it's definitely a good change. You know, like, so it's if that is really happening, that's a good thing for you. You know, because you want to go a bit lower with your nitrate. You want to go a little bit. You know, your phosphate is a good amount, so it's not too bad. You know, and Gloria is on. Hey, Gloria, how are you? I hope you're good. And let's see. So Bronzer is on Instagram. Have I missed any Instagram one? No, it looks good. If you have any questions, guys, just shoot them. So Mesha is saying, um, is there a type of algae that is forbidden with Triton method? No, not really. There is no algae forbidden. So there is the taxofolia, Caulerpa taxofolia, which we used in the past a lot. So, like, yeah, I mean, in Europe, right? When I was young, I didn't use Chitomorpha when I was young, like when I was like 18, 20. I used Taxofolia because that was a very common one that you can get everywhere. And that's also the one that actually infected the Mediterranean Sea because of Acarus, right? Um, so somebody just got rid of it in the ocean and it grows everywhere now in the Mediterranean. So that was the algae we used because it's very robust, but it is a bit dangerous. So, you know, it can go sexual, and then it is toxic, like it kills stuff. So it's not really a good one to use while it works really well, you know, like if you use it, like Colerpa generally works, some of it works really, really good. They're just a little bit, you know, they can bleed out. So if you know, if you cut them and you know, harvest them and stuff, you have a little bit of a downside. They're a bit more difficult to handle, but it's not bad. Like I had Colerpa racemosa in my tank grown as a dominant algae at a point, and that was really good. That was really, really good. And another thing they do, Colerpa, is they also grow into the core. So when you get them in the top of the tank, they sometimes really strong and get into like every little and grab onto your reef, and then they go into your core and they kill your coral, you know, like, because they just, so they are in competition with your coral, and that's kind of not a good thing too, because you sometimes get a part up on top, but then you have fish that eat them too. So yeah, I fed them to my naso and my tanks and stuff. So it's kind of there's no no go to, but you will get used to it. You will get a bit of an experienced way to work with your algae. It's a kind of tool. It's a bit of gardening. It's like, yep, I'm feeding it to my fish, and that's really good for them. Like, oh, my fish, when they ate this algae, like the tangs, they look like so good. Like, really, it's natural food. That was perfect for them, right? So that's a good thing to like when you're not having like ketomorpha, right? But again, it's a match to your tank too. It need to match your tank. And the start with Ketomorpha is the best thing for a lot of people. So we still try to make you start with that and then keep going, right? And Dragon Breath is an awesome algae, for example. This people want to have it, but they can't. but but you know, in the Triton method, it grows, you know, so it's a good thing to have. Um, okay, Alois saying, I have very high fluorine. How do I drop it? I haven't been adding this element, so not sure why it's so high. Alois, depending on where you're from, you know, fluoride is often in tap water. So, yeah, it could be coming from, you know, a source of water that you have. We had that several times now because, you know, in America you have it in your water, for example. It's just it is a known problem to me that it can go really up. Um, how high is it, Alois? Let me know that, and then I'll kind of understand where we at. All right. Oh, I can see Unterwasserparadies Hey, Aqua Killer joined. Luis, how are you, mate? Finally, I'll give you a call after this. Just want to talk to you a bit. Not talked to you for ages. So Dream is saying I asked because of his values. Phosphate went down a little overnight. That's fine, Dream. Test it tomorrow, the next days again. If it's 0.0, just leave it there. That's fine. There's no issue. Okay. I wouldn't panic at all. Okay. So Aqua Killer, yes. And Unterwasserparadies. Walter, ich sehe deine Frage. And I will go and answer it. Ich mach sofort. Ich mach kurz noch Mina. Mina, I have some Halimeter growing in my tank. Okay, to let it grow, or better remove it. No, let it grow. So later you can remove it. But for you right now, just give it a go, because that's a really good sign for you if you want coralline algae. That is a really good sign. Just give it go. That's a beautiful algae. I love it. It just uses a lot of, alkalinity and stuff, but it's a good sign. Keep going with that. So Chris is saying, Chris, 100%. I feed it all my fish dragon's breath. Yeah, it's so good, isn't it? It's so good, Chris. Like, yeah, I'm just waiting for some to grow in my tank right now. It's just so low on nutrient. Really, like, it's outer reef. It's like a biotope outer reef, which is just desert, and it's wow. I'm just fighting. Like, there's literally no nutrients in my tank, but the coral look like, especially the corals from that area, they look really good. They look really good, Chris. Like, really, really, really good. Like, I need to get like some videos of them out. It's just, it's mad. It's such a balance act, Like, always, every time, any tank I have, it's always like a balance act. Like, oh yeah, this looks good, but then this one, it's not. It could be better, Like, so. Anyway, so now Walter's question is German, and I was translated. Wenn ich Eisen dosiere, okay, then yep, then I'll lose it out of the tank after several hours. Okay. Heißt das denn, dass ich den in diesem Moment überdosieren kann ich. Okay, so Walter is asking, he's dosing iron, and then after some hours, he says it's precipitating. And does that mean that in that moment he's overdosing iron? He could overdose that iron, and then he wouldn't see that in some hours anymore. So, Walter, that's a hard question for me to translate, but it's kind of iron question. So I'll answer you about iron. So that element is fragile in seawater, right? So iron will precipitate because it will turn from iron 2 that you want to iron 3, which is not usable and actually phosphate remover, right? So it will rust. Like, it's a metal, right? And it will rust in seawater. So what we do is we chelate it. So we put a protective layer on top of the iron 2. And when you add that into your tank, then it will stay stable like that for a while. And then the layer will be gone and it will drop out. So yes, it will be needed to add iron like more often if you want to have it available all the time, right? While in the ocean, it's not available all the time, right? There is like a structure that helps it being available, which is on the surface, the sunlight changed the form of the iron. That's something that they found, and I couldn't prove that, but that's what is said, that it comes to the surface, the iron, then it will go back to a specific like form, iron 2, iron 3, and when it's going lower, then it will turn around again. And then there's biological processes that will cause the iron to be available in iron 2 form, but not everywhere and not in high amounts, just to let you know. So when you're dosing it in your tank, mainly it will be used very quickly in iron 2 form that is shielded, so protected, and then it will precipitate out of your tank. So you will need to add it permanently if you want to keep that up, but I wouldn't do it, because as soon as it turns to the iron 3, it also will reduce your phosphate, right? It is the same product than like GFO in somehow, just in a liquid form. So you need to be a bit careful with that iron if you dose it permanently, because you're permanently altering your phosphate, your nutrients in your tank. And that's something that might be not good, might be really good for you. You just need to know it, right? And that's what you need to think about. So in any way, it has an effect on your tank. Either it will be used, and it will be used for from your, like, or your coral and algae and stuff, but also it will reduce your phosphate when it drops out on its own, when it changes form. And that's pretty much what you need to know about iron. It's good for anything algae, so we always dose it with core 7. It's always in there, in a specific form that I can't tell you, but it is in there, and it's really good for like algae. um and you can try it. It's not dangerous at all, right? But if your phosphate is very low, be a bit careful. Okay. Walter, I hope that's okay for you in English, because saying all of that in German will take a while. So I'll leave it in English, okay? But if you don't understand it, just give me a text afterwards and I'll help you out. No problem, okay? So Akokila. Yes, Luis, finally. Let's see what I have here. Chris is coming up. Fluoride. Okay, Alois is saying fluoride is 4.57. Yeah, that's high, man. That's high. Normally it comes down on its own, but Alois, you can buy yourself AL99, our phosphate remover. It will remove fluoride. Okay, so it will take it a little bit, right? So yeah, I would recommend you use AL99 for a month or so, and it will remove your phosphate. Obviously, it's phosphate remover, but it will also take the excess fluoride. Okay, just try that. Okay, so Mesha is saying ICP green versus ICP blue, the old one. Which one is more accurate? They're pretty much the same machine, Mesha. There was the ICP, the blue version of it. It's just like they changed the name of it because I guess they wanted to sound a bit more sustainable or something. But the main part of it, the kind of the where you measure the detector unit, is exactly the same. There's no difference. That's the main part of an ICP machine. The generator is the same. So it's either it's a modern generator, but like all of the machines have that generator now. So what I do not like with the green is there is some stuff that they reduced, which was better on the blue. And also the main issue is that it's running on a higher temperature. So the green runs on 30 degrees for the detector, and the blue runs on 15. So one of them has a cooler, the other one has a heater. Yeah, it's the same thing. There's no, for me, there's no main difference. I like the old one more because it's more robust in my eyes. It is more it's the software is better in my eyes. It's an opinion thing, but it's like when you use it, there is a difference from using it, not from getting results out of it. Measure. So yeah, it's more advertising to just go, hey, I have the green, it's new and stuff. We have two greens, we have blues, we have aquas, we have everything anyway. So for me, using them for reef keeping is all the same. So what do we have? Chris is saying something. Chris, I'll come to you in a sec. Aqua Killer. How does the trace elements around the Great Barrier Reef change often? They do very much, Louise, looking at what sources of fresh water you have, right? Um, that's the main one, I would say. Then you have changes tide wise, and you have changes um over the year, like season wise, and then all changes actually nutrient and trace elements. Um, Sometimes you have very consistent nutrients. So you also have um, things that humans do, like we have a mine, the biggest manganese mine up in the north of Australia, in the Northern Territory. And we do some work there with one of the scientists from Sydney University. And he's checking that stuff with us, and he's writing a paper right now. But that's man-made, so there's manganese in that reef, right? Because people do it, and that's beneficial in that case somehow. There's a mine of nickel up in Indonesia where Vincent is. There is soil that changes trace elements, like in Indonesia, the black sand, um, or volcanic soil in Hawaii. So you have on trace amounts, you have a lot of changes sometimes, and the question is how long does that, or how much of trace elements for what time is needed for the coral to maybe take it in and then live with it for a while, like a deposit, like a fat deposit or something. You know what I mean? Like you don't need to have it all the time. Maybe it's just, you know given a push, and that's fine. And what you see, for example, with zinc, this is very much the case. So you have low zinc for a while, then you get like some issues with the growth tips and stuff of your coral. But then you add zinc and you give it a push, and all of a sudden, after a week, everything is fine again, and it stays fine for a longer time. Even you can't measure the zinc anymore, it stays okay. So it's sometimes not even the need of having it permanently available for every coral and stuff. So that's what you need to look at, and then you get better understanding of it. But you have changes, Luis. You have it, you know. Oh, Nick joined. Sorry, Nick. I forgot to answer you, Nick. I'm sorry. I just need to come back to you. Um, so what is unter Wasser say? Okay, ich denke mal. Okay, so he's saying Triton power. His tank looks awesome. He uses the mix calculator. Yep. And he was just afraid to overdose iron, but yeah, that's not too bad. It's all good. And he understood. Great. Good question, Aqua Killer. Yep. I hope I answered it well, Luis. Gloria, if you want to add anything, let me know. Like if you have any questions following up, let me know. Okay. So let me see. Chris is saying I need to send you a new ICP because my stretching for the while it was dosing, and I strontium, I think, forgot it was on. I think it is impacted the color of my coral. I need to retest with you, seal run a while. Yep. If it's still high, is there any way to remove it besides water changing? Because I've done a whole bunch. Chris, yeah, I mean, double amount of strontium is not too bad, you know. Strontium is a very good thing for coral. I doubt the color would change if it's not super high. But look, now water changing is the only way because strontium is very close to calcium and magnesium, and whatever would filter strontium would also filter magnesium and calcium. So you can't do that. You need to do water change. I'm sorry for that, but that's the way it works, right? So yeah, if it is still high, just send it out. We'll check, But if it's under 16 or around 16, I wouldn't worry. It's not too bad. Sometimes I kept my tanks on 16 for a while, and it was pretty good. So it's just expensive, but it was pretty good. So just to let you know, and I know that Greg is not here today, but Greg asked me to how to raise it to 12. So there's people running up 12, you know, too. But like I say, you kind of, it's not a cheap product, you know. So Mesha is asking James is, oh, James, how are you, mate? James is here. How are you? Okay, so let me see. James is going. So how does the description differ from the full-blown Triton method? The subscription, mate, is not the description. That's, yeah, the subscription. I got it. The subscription is a totally new model. So the Triton method, James, is a holistic way, like the whole thing, how to run a reef tank in a really good natural way. So we solve a lot of problems for people by giving them the whole thing. Not only here's your trace elements, or here's your calcium and magnesium and alkalinity, or here's your, you know, your skimmer, or here's your return pump, or here's your algae. Like, this is not only a part, right? It is everything. So we get, if you do the Triton method, you read it and you're like, all right, I know exactly what to do, and I have the whole system set up. Even look at Mina here, right? He just didn't do the live rock kind of thing, and he got issues, right? But if you do what we say exactly, you will be successful right away. And people that never kept a coral can keep an aquapora, right? That's the Triton method. So that's like a holistic system, and there's no other version of it out there. It's just like, you come to us, we give you that thing, and this is what the most people want. They just want a recipe for success, and that's the Triton method, right? So if you do not know about things, and you can start trying things and tweak things, but a lot of people just go by the Triton method. It's a complete thing. They have a rule work, and that's it. It's actually a little part of it is only trace elements, a very little part, right? So, but the subscription is solving a trace element issue that we created. So when I brought up I created the trace element supplementation based on ICP testing, which is single bottle by single bottle. And that was very hard for a lot of people and expensive too. It's just like, and then you need to understand a lot of stuff. So it's kind of just reaching 10 to 20% of people out there. But, you know, the benefits of each element, for example, I always got asked, you know, here too, like, what's the top three? What is this? What is that? Like, so what is, you know, vanadium doing for my tank? And you ask that, don't not because you're interested. You ask that to know if you want to buy vanadium, or because you want to buy that benefit, or you want to buy you know, zinc because you want to buy that benefit. And if you ask me, like, which one is getting me more color, so you buy that once because you want that benefits, right? Because you don't want to spend money for all of them, correct? And that is actually a good way to do it, but it's very complicated. So the subscription, what it does is, firstly, you get a monthly test, and then you get all elements and all benefits of them in one bottle shipped to you. So it is super convenient for people. Like, people are kind of, you know, more into this because it's making them, you know, feel very confident, because we do it in a lab for them, and they only have one bottle. It's super convenient. Then they don't buy all the little bottles, which is super sustainable and way more affordable. But they don't need to decide which element to buy, which gives them all the benefits at once. And that is really good too, right? So you end up being like having a better system for trace element supplementation. It is the evolution of the evolution of the evolution. So the evolution of the little bottles is now the one bottle again, while it is logical and prepared for your tank. And it's always matching your tank too. So every month you do an ICP test, so we adjust that thing depending on the needs of your tank. And that's just genius, man. That's really good, you know. Like, this is helping a massive amount of people out there. It's really, really good. and it is very successful for them too. That's what I really wanted with that. It's hard for us, but it's super easy for them. And that's, if you look at it, it's cheaper than what you would do if you do like, a monthly test and trace elements. Much cheaper, and it's much better for the environment, because we don't sell you all the little bottles. And sometimes you just need one bottle and it's just 1 ml you need after 100 ml, but I need to sell you the 100 ml because it's a standard size, and that's not needed anymore, and that's what you're not paying anymore, and that's just great. So sorry, but that's kind of a very big difference between these two things. All right. Jamie, but James, if you have questions, let me know. I will keep going. So wait a second. We have stuff coming up. Sorry, that was too long. What's the cons of using two-part in course 7? Oh, the only con is that you end up with not being able to adjust your calcium and magnesium separate from each other. But there's not too much other cons, because you have added all the salts that you would add anyway. So you have everything. But that's the only one. Like, I like the 4-part because I can adjust a little bit. But there is no other con to it. So you can use it measure 2-part, no problem. Hi Sen, can you explain how to treat biopsies with lithium? What need to do other than treatment to rid of the lithium excess? After the treatment to rid of the lithium. Water changes would be needed. Triton Labs Chile. If you want to get rid of it, you need to water change. Lithium is the same group like sodium. There's literally no way to get rid of it otherwise. So you need to do water change. Okay. So if you have done the treatment, you pushed it up, then you do water changes afterward, and then it should be fine. Okay. Okay. Your Chris was on 18. Yeah, it's still okay, Chris. It's higher than 16, just 2. It's all right. I mean, let it drop down now. You did do water changes. You should be fine, Chris. No problem. We're talking about the strontium here, right? So Paul is asking, when are you going to bring subscription model to Australia? Pretty soon, I think. We're in Australia. The problem is the shipment. Like that we have a big country, but not too many people, and postal service. Especially when it's going like to West Australia and stuff. So we're looking at it, to find a really good way. It's infrastructure. So infrastructure in America is really good. That's why we started it there first. But it is coming, Paul. We'll make a big thing out of it when it's coming. Okay? Yep, Chris, all good. So I'll go back to Instagram quickly, guys. Sorry to let you wait. James' question is answered, I think. Akokila is asking, Isan, you ever tested the Great Barrier when it's looking rough compared to when it looks beautiful, or when the water is murky compared to here? Yes, I did. I'm doing that all the time, Luis. That's the main thing. What we're doing here. That we look for differences. Well, I tested it when it was all green, like green from flooding. Like there was Townsville was flooded, Cairns was flooded, right? And then and it's this time is coming up again. Like it's summertime where it rains so much. I have a video online where you can see a little creek getting a massive there was so much water you cannot imagine, right? And that's all carrying. I said that on the video too. Like all carrying all this stuff right into the ocean, right? So yeah, we do a lot of testing in that case, because I suspect, and that's what I don't know, but I suspect that this changes over time make they have the changes over heat, for example, or a lot of sunlight when the water gets clear. All this, you have jellyfish season, right? Jellyfish is kind of very close to coral, okay? And they have a season, right? So you have all these things happening, and when you look at it, I think that the seasons deliver something into the reef, and the reef lives on that for a while until the season comes back. That's what I believe. That's why I want to do the testing with the plankton testing. I'll do the plankton testing. I'll do the light testing. So there's a lot of stuff coming up. We kind of created 2 wings on our boat now. Want to do a lot of things this year, and I'll take you with me. I'll show you. It is differences. Like sometimes it's not only a difference from trace elements. Like trace elements could also be in food. Like when we eat something, we take a lot of trace elements. When you eat a banana, let's say, people say, "Oh, yeah, potassium." You get a lot of potassium, right? So think of it that way. It's more than just adding something into your water. It's really not the same thing. It's not that only, right? And then when you understand that, it opens up all these doors in your head and all these questions. Like, all right, but which ones do they eat? How do they eat it? What is needed for them to eat it? For them to take it, right? That's very important. So I love making one bottle mix. Yep, I know you do it. Yeah, I know you do it. Okay, so CDM, I'm looking forward to the subscription reaching Europe. Yep, Europe is a hard one though. So many countries, so many laws, it's a hard one, but we're working on it. Matthew is saying, Matthew, still not sent your cap mat. Sorry. How do you do out of all elements in the same bottle? Won't the elements react with each other? Yes, they would sometimes, depending on the elements, but in a lab you can solve that very easily. So it's not too hard. You know how much you're adding, how much, like chelator, the protective layer product that you want to add, for example, to iron, you can do that. And then you can make them very much having a long shelf life. The difference from the product, you look, there's element, you can buy trace elements in one bottle concentrated from any manufacturer nowadays, like in the past too, right? So it's all off the shelf. Nobody was thinking, how can all these elements be in one bottle, right? And I'm not saying they weren't, but honestly, you're asking me that now, but that stuff is like old, right? But the main thing is the how long. So chemical reactions, Matthew, they take time, right? So there's two things to it. It is the ability for two things to react with each other and how long that takes. Okay, so if you look at, for example, aluminium and seawater. Aluminium obviously gets chewed up by seawater. It reacts with seawater, but it takes a long time, right? It doesn't go right away, right? It's just because you put it in there, the aluminium is not damaged right away or something, right? And it takes a longer time. So when you look at that, what is the good thing to the subscription and that one mixed bottle, 1 liter mixed bottle of elements is it only need to keep 1 month, not 2 years or 3 years on the shelf like we do with the little bottles. And I wouldn't mix them and sell you a mixed bottle because that is then dangerous because over time it will precipitate, for example, or something and react. But for the mixed bottle, you literally use it in 1 month. So there is nearly no time for them to react. And you can very easily handle that. And that's why it's so good too. That's literally the answer on this. So any kind of reaction takes time, and the time, it's fine. It's possibly not working for a year, but for a month. So Dan is asking, how much is a subscription? So Dan, the subscription started $79 for 100 gallons, so up to 100-gallon tank. And then it goes up, and as as bigger the tank gets, as cheaper it gets, right? So when you go like $99 is already 250 gallon, and then you go $110 or $109 is 450 gallon, and then you go up against to up to 600 gallon, that's $120, so $119.99, right? So that's kind of the structure, and then you go up. You just need to go on the website. We'll find all of them, and then it will show you all the pricing. But we will have a list of all the prices send out this week, I guess, too, because all the vendors are starting selling it and stuff. So it shouldn't take too long for you. Okay, but that's pretty much it. So all good, Matthew. I got you. So let's see if there's other questions coming up. How 18? So no, all good. Looks good to me. It's 8 o'clock, and I am running out of questions. Dr. Aqua Crazy is on. Hey, mate. If any questions, shoot them now. I'll go for one more question, and I will, I think, release you all into your Saturday evening, and then wish you a really good Sunday, and wrap this up as a video. So, Chris is asking, is it here in the States yet? Yes, Chris, it's only in the States. Like, I mean, you know, in the United States of America, yeah, that's where the subscription started. That's if you ask that, you know, Chris. So Relja just come in. Hey, Relja, if you have any questions, shoot him now, because I'm getting out of here. I'm just wrapping it up. Yeah, Chris, that's if you mean the United States of America, yes, mate, it's there. It's there. It's where it is. See my awesome Mark, my dad, Mark. Just show it for Luan. My son gave it to me when he was younger. So, have I missed anybody's question? Grand Reefer when came on. Alicia, hey Alicia, how are you? Good afternoon. Sorry, I didn't even see that. I hope you're good, Alicia. I hope you're good. So, hello, sir. Chris, yep, you too, mate. See you next one. That's good. All right. I think there's no more questions coming up. And if you have any next Sunday, you're more than welcome to come and ask me. You can also ask everything, you know, under our posts and videos and stuff. You just ask, and we'll try to go right away and answer them. Well, I need to look at YouTube a bit more, but I will, I promise. And yeah, if you have anything anyway in the whole week, you just shoot them out, and maybe there is one that is a hot topic for us, and I'll put them in here. And yes, if you have anything else, otherwise I'll put it out on video. Thank you for joining. Thank you for your awesome questions. Thank you. Check out the subscription, boys, really good. And I will see you in the next video or live stream. Take care, guys. Have a good one. Have a good one, everybody.